Summary number 5, The Pearl by John Steinbeck, narrated by Idris Khan. Phone and WhatsApp 00923489821776. First, a few words about the novel. The Pearl is a novella by American author John Steinbeck, first published in 1947. It is the story of a pearl diver, Kino, and explores man's nature as well as greed, defiance of societal norms, and evil. Steinbeck's inspiration was a Mexican folk tale from La Paz, Mexico, which he had heard in a visit to the formerly pearl-rich region in 1940. In 1947, it was adapted into a Mexican film named La Palla. The story is one of Steinbeck's most popular books and has been widely used in high school classes. Now, the summary itself. Kino, a pearl diver, Joanna, his wife, and their infant son, Coitito, live in a modest brush house by the sea. One morning, calamity strikes when a scorpion stings Coitito. Hoping to protect their son, Kino and Joanna rush him to the doctor in town. When they arrive at the doctor's gate, they are turned away because they are poor natives who cannot pay enough. Later that same morning, Kino and Joanna take their family canoe, an heirloom, out to the estuary to go diving for pearls. Joanna makes a poultice for Coitito's wound, while Kino searches the sea bottom. Joanna's prayer for a large pearl are answered when Kino surfaces with the largest pearl either of them has ever seen in their life. Kino lets out a triumphant yell at his good fortune, prompting the surrounding boats to circle in and examine the treasure. In the afternoon, the whole neighborhood gathers at Kino's brush house to celebrate his find. Kino names a list of things that he will secure for his family with his newfound wealth, including a church wedding and an education for his son. The neighbors marvel at Kino's boldness and wonder if he is foolish or wise to harbor such ambitions. Towards evening, the local priest visits Kino to bless him in his good fortune and to remind him of his place within the church. Shortly thereafter, the doctor arrives explaining that he was out in the morning but has come now to cure Coitito. He administers a powdered capsule and promises to return in an hour. In the intervening period, Coitito grows violently ill, and Kino decides to bury the pearl under the floor in a corner of the brush house. The doctor returns and feeds Coitito a potion to quiet his spasm. When the doctor inquires about payment, Kino explains that soon he will sell his large pearl and inadvertently glances towards the corner where he has hidden the pearl. This mention of the pearl greatly intrigues the doctor, and Kino is left with an uneasy feeling. Before going to bed, Kino reburies the pearl under his sleeping mat. That night, he is roused by an intruder digging around in the corner. A violent struggle ensues, and Kino's efforts to chase away the criminal leave him bloodied. Terribly upset by his turn of events, Joanna proposes that they abandon the pearl, which she considers an agent of evil. The next morning, Kino and Joanna make their way to town to sell the pearl. John Thomas, Kino's brother, advises Kino to be wary of the cheats. Indeed, all of the dealers conspire to bid low on the pearl. Kino indignantly refuses to accept their offers, resolving instead to take their pearl to the capital. That evening, as Kino and Joanna prepare to leave, John Thomas cautions Kino against being overly proud. In the middle of the night, Joanna steals away with the pearl. Kino wakes as she leaves and pursues her. Apprehending her just as she is poised to throw the pearl into the sea, he tackles her, takes the pearl back, and beats her violently, leaving her in a crumpled heap on the beach. As he returns to the brush house, a group of hostile men confronts him and tries to take the pearl from him. He fights the men off, killing one of them and causing the rest to flee, but drops the pearl in the process. As Joanna returns from the shore to the brush house, she finds the pearl lying in the path. Just beyond, she sees Kino on the ground next to the dead man. He bemoans the loss of the pearl, which she presents to him. Though Kino explained that he had no intention to kill anyone, Joanna insists that he will be labeled a murderer. Now they resolve to flee at once. Kino rushes back to the shore to prepare the canoe, while Joanna returns home to gather Coitito and their belongings. Kino arrives at the shore and finds his canoe destroyed by the vandals. When he climbs the hill, he sees a fire blazing and realizes that his house has been burned down. Desperate to find refuge, Kino, Joanna, and Coitito duck into John Thomas's house, where they hide out for the day. The neighborhood believes that the three had perished in the blaze. John Thomas and his wife, Apollonia, reluctantly agree to keep Kino and Joanna secret and provide shelter for them while pretending to be ignorant of their whereabouts. At night, Kino, Joanna, and Coitito set out for the capital. Skirting the town, they travel north until sunrise and then take covert shelter by the roadside. They sleep for most of the day and are preparing to set out again when Kino discovers that their three trackers are following them. After hesitating briefly, Kino decides that they must hurry up the mountain in hopes of eluding the trackers. A breathless ascent brings them to a water source where they rest and take shelter in a nearby cave. Kino attempts to mislead the trackers by creating a false trail up the mountain. Kino, Joanna, and Coitito then hide in a cave and wait for an opportunity to escape back down the mountain. The trackers are slow in their pursuit and finally arrive at the watering hole at dusk. They make camp nearby and two of the trackers sleep while the third stands watch. Kino decides that he must attempt to attack them before the late moon rises. He strips naked to avoid being seen and sneaks up to striking distance. Just as Kino prepares to attack, Coitito lets out a cry, waking the sleepers. When one of them fires his rifle in the direction of the cry, Kino makes his move, killing the trackers in a violent fury. In the aftermath, Kino slowly realizes that the rifle shot struck and killed his son in the cave. The next day, Kino and Joanna make their way back through town and the outlying brush houses. Joanna carries her dead son slung over her shoulder. They walk all the way to the sea as onlookers watch in silence fascination. At the shore, Kino pulls the pearl out of his clothing and takes out last hard look at it. Then, with all his might, under a setting sun, he flings the pearl back into the sea. This was the summary of the novel The Pearl by John Steinbeck. Until the next summary, take care of yourself.